Hello and welcome to Top of the Line. I'm Nick Lynch.
And I'm Ben Heltzer.
And today we are going to be talking about what happened during Conference Championship weekend in the NFL, including breakdowns of both games, selections for this week's Pro Bowl, and our NFL honors predictions. So let's get started. So Ben, we will start with the first game for Championship Sunday. The Chiefs and the Ravens. The Kansas City Chiefs get a narrowly 17-10 win over the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he played well, but the rest of the team didn't play well.
Yeah, and it was extremely disappointing from the Ravens, but it just goes to show how good the Chiefs defense actually is. And talking about the Chiefs in general, you just can't pick against them in the playoffs, especially with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. He's going to get you to the Super Bowl no matter what the weapons are around him. And Travis Kelce's going to show up when it matters. And I can't be anything but envious, and I can't do anything but respect them, even though it hurts. They just know how to win when it matters, and it's insane.
Patrick Mahomes, he's been in the league for 7 seasons. He's been to the Super Bowl 4 of those seasons. Has a chance to get his 3rd ring for the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Ravens, on the other hand, everyone thought this was going to be their year. Every Ravens fan, I'm sure you could agree on. And then they just fall flat in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's still a great season for them, but obviously you can't help but be disappointed, especially because everyone was writing off the Chiefs. Even after they beat the Bills, the majority of people still picked the Ravens. They were still the heavy favorites. They had the Super Bowl logo color theory in their favor, even though that was proved wrong. But they still got the 1 seed. Lamar's still going to end up probably winning MVP. They won a playoff game. So, I'm sure they'll be back next year.
I agree. But for the Ravens, they have just kept getting ripped off every single play. Like, whenever there would be a good play for the Baltimore Ravens, there would be a flag on it. And that's on the team. That's not on Lamar Jackson or anything. But was it the 3rd quarter or 2nd quarter? I can't remember. But Zay Flowers caught that pass and then got a taunting penalty against him that same play, which it was still a completion down the field, but just pushed them 15 yards back. Yeah,
that hurt them. But I thought you were going to talk about something else, that bad fumble that he had on the goal line.
On that same drive,
yeah,
too.
that hurt. That really hurt them, and that killed all their momentum. If they scored on that drive, they would have been only down 1 score, and they would have had all the momentum on both offense and defense to come back and take the lead. But that fumble was terrible. Also, that interception that Lamar threw in the 4th quarter into double coverage, I don't know what he was thinking.
Triple, not double.
Yeah, triple, yeah. But, it's just mistakes, and Kansas City capitalizing on them is what cost them.
Yeah, the thing that's ironic about that fumble is the Chiefs had almost the exact same play a week before in Buffalo, except it rolled out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. But, yeah, like you said, the Kansas City Chiefs, they were held scoreless in the second half, and they still won in Baltimore.
Yeah, and that just, again, like I said before, goes to show how good their defense is. It's been underrated all year. We saw glimpses of it throughout the year, but this game just emphasized it extremely. And same with Travis Kelce. He had 11 targets. He caught all of them, went for 116 yards or something, and he had a touchdown. I think this Chiefs team is looking scary going into Vegas for the Super Bowl.
I agree, but so switching to the NFC Championship game, we have the Detroit Lions at the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, a lot of Lions fans there, mostly who have traveled from Detroit to San Francisco. But unfortunately, the Lions, they were up 24-7 at the half, and then they gave up the lead and lost 34-31.
Yeah, and it was absolutely crushing, especially, I'm not even a Lions fan, but I felt for them, especially because of, considering how little success that franchise has had in their history. They finally had a prime opportunity to go to the Super Bowl and hopefully get a win, but they ended up falling short, letting the Niners come back, and I think it had a lot to do with Dan Campbell. he just, was too aggressive, even with the lead. And he's been playing that way all season, but it finally caught up to him. And I think that, he needs to reevaluate how he should coach next year, especially with a lead.
I agree, but I don't think he is going to change that way, because he said after the game that he doesn't regret his calls, that he made going for it on 4th down when they could have easily kicked to the field goal. But sometimes I like his aggressiveness, but in that situation I do not. I don't.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Sometimes his aggressiveness is amazing. They have the highest rate of going for it on 4th down, and it's because of him. But in that scenario, there's no reason to go for it when you could have easily kicked the field goal and tied it up, especially that late in the game. In a game like the NFC Championship game, you just can't go for it. You have to kick the field goal. I don't know what he was thinking, and he says he stands by it, but I don't believe it. I think if he could go back and change it, I think he would.
Yeah, but the Lions that Dan Campbell is what lost them that game. It's just it's disappointing.
Yeah, it sucks because the guy's so likable, but and I don't put the blame on anyone, but if I had to put the blame on someone, it would be him. And
100%.
Yeah, it sucks for him.
On the 49ers, for the other hand, Brock Purdy, he struggled in the first half, but he started to come alive in the second half and led the 49ers to that 24-7 comeback lead. But with Brock Purdy, I've been saying this since Christmas Day, that game against the Baltimore Ravens. He has not looked the same with that 4-interception game on Christmas. But he started to get that momentum back in the second half of that game, and that helped the 49ers into a home win, and will play in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's a good thing they don't have to play the Ravens in the Super Bowl. But I also want to point out that game was really, all I could think about was the difference between the two head coaches. Campbell, as we said earlier, went up early and continued to play aggressive and call aggressive plays. But on the other hand, Shanahan, even when he was down 3 scores, he still remained calm and ran his offense, how he's been doing, and it worked. And I think that, that style of coaching is better in the long run.
Christian McCaffrey and his father, Ed McCaffrey, who played in the league a long time ago, have a chance to win a Super Bowl, father-son combined Super Bowl. They're the second father-son duo to do that if they of course beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But
that game should be electric. And obviously it's not the Super Bowl that I don't think anyone wanted, but it's the Super Bowl we got, and it's going to be a good game regardless, even if we don't want it to happen.
And by the way, Atlanta Falcons fans, your 28-3 choke is still worse than the Lions ones. Well, it's time for our honors predictions. The NFL honors is the Saturday night before the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. So for my honors predictions for MVP, Lamar Jackson, it's not a hard guess to choose from. Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. I'm sure a lot of people would. Some people might put him in their MVPs. But Defensive Player of the Year, we have TJ Watt. Head Coach of the Year is DeMeco Ryan, led the Houston Texans not only to the playoffs, but to a playoff win. And for Offensive Rookie of the Year, we have C.J. Stroud, the number 2 overall pick out of Ohio State. And then for Defensive Rookie of the Year, we have Jalen Carter for the Philadelphia Eagles, who has just been a monster on that defensive line for the Eagles. But Ben, who do you have for your honors predictions?
I 100% agree with you. Besides Coach of the Year, DeMeco Ryans was amazing, but in my opinion, I think it should go to Kevin Stefanski. What he's been able to do with Joe Flacco, no Nick Chubb, and missing without key players on defense, what he was able to do with this Browns team, getting them, into the playoffs as the 5 seed, 11 or 12 wins. I forgot how many wins they had, but it was 11 or 12. I think that he almost single-handedly brought this team to the playoffs, and I think that he did an amazing job. But, yeah, like you said, Lamar Jackson has been lights out. McCaffrey has been lights out. T.J. Watt, deserving in my opinion. Carter and Stroud, 2 rookies, sensational. They deserve it. And then comeback player of the year, I have Baker, but obviously there's DeMar Hamlin and Joe Flacco. I just think, what Baker did, pulling that miracle run off when nobody thought he could, I think that's pretty deserving of the award.
But I think for comeback player of the year, I think that DeMar Hamlin has to win it because, he's a guy who thought he would never play football again back in January of last year and did. But,
yeah, it's an amazing story. And
it's incredible.
He'll probably end up getting it, but I think it should go to Baker. But, we'll just have to see what happens.
Flacco says that that DeMar Hamlin should win it also. But we will see next Saturday night for the honors. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we are all out of time on the NFL today, but when we come back, Noah and Matt will go over what happened this week in college basketball, so stay right here.
Hello, and welcome back to Top of the Line. Let's dive into the last week of college basketball. Noah, the team I want to talk about this week is the Houston Cougars. They are on a 5-game win streak with 2 big road wins at Texas and at BYU, led by two-star guards, Jamal Sheed and Baylor transfer L.J. Cryer. Alvin Sampson's squad plays great defense and crashes the glass, with good guard play as well. This is a great formula for March. What team has caught your eye, Noah?
So I know we talked about them just a week ago, and I wasn't too high on them, but I saw the way that Purdue's been playing lately. They, for some reason, actually look like a top 5 team this year. They've gotten ranked so highly every year, but they've never really been able to make it out of the first or second round of the March Madness. But I think they can make a long run this year because, the last 2 years they've lost to Rutgers, whether it was at Rutgers, at Purdue, but they manhandled them this year. And Purdue has looked like a different basketball team. And frankly, so Zach Edey's playing better basketball. That whole team is just playing better as a whole, and it's a really great thing to watch.
Noah, let's look ahead to this Saturday, possibly the best matchups of the year, with 2 top 10 showdowns. The aforementioned Houston travels to Kansas, and Duke travels to North Carolina. Who do you got, Noah?
So, for Duke and North Carolina, I am going to take North Carolina at home. And for the Kansas-Houston game, I am going to take Houston. I think Houston will get the big road win. Then North Carolina will get the big home win. North Carolina is just such a great team. So is Kansas, but frankly, I think North Carolina can just dominate them.
Well, that's all for college basketball today. But don't move, because next up is Rocco and Noah talking about wrestling.
Hello, and welcome to this wrestling segment of Top of the Line. As always, I'm Noah Muller.
Rocco Coppola along with you.
And today we'll be looking back at every match that happened at the Royal Rumble PLE this past Saturday and recapping matches, as well as some returns and debuts. So without further ado, let's get ready to rumble. So, Rocco, for the United States Championship, we had the champion Logan Paul take on Kevin Owens in a fairly entertaining match, I'd say. It didn't take up too much time in the show, but, very entertaining for what it was. The finish, though, kind of...
I liked it.
It was all right.
I like the finish.
They're setting up another match, but it didn't really end how I expected it to, with Kevin Owens putting on the brass knuckles, punching Logan Paul, and then getting DQ'd for it when Logan Paul was trying to do the same thing. I mean, they had to get Logan Paul out of there as champion in some way, somehow, obviously, but didn't expect them to pull that out of the pocket.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Out of every celebrity professional wrestler in the entire industry, there's nobody who does it better than Logan Paul. He's incredible in the ring. Kevin Owens. I hope people know Owens isn't winning the United States title.
He's not.
It was never going to be him. It's going to be LA Knight at WrestleMania. We'll get into that at some point. Who knows when, but we'll touch on LA Knight a little later. I think with the finish, it's a way to protect Logan Paul.
Yeah.
You don't want to have him lose. You don't want him to lose already. He still hasn't really lost one match, maybe. Who did he lose to? He lost to Roman, right?
Yeah.
Lost to Roman. And that's it. Logan's just that good. It was short, quick, easy, fun to watch. Finish might leave fans a little,
Sour.
I guess that's the word for it. But we just got to see what happens going forward. I don't think Kevin Owens is in the United States title picture much longer.
Yeah.
So, hey, I think Logan Case has title in the Mania.
Very entertaining for what it was. Moving on, we had the Women's Royal Rumble match in which you got your prediction wrong, and I was correct. Bayley won the Women's Rumble with Liv Morgan in second place and Jade Cargill in third, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this match was great. This match, I believe, should have main evented because
If we knew what the men's Rumble was going to look like, then, yeah, you're not wrong.
when you don't put Roman in the main event and you put the Rumble over, you expect something crazy, and it just wasn't really there.
I think my chair is trying to dump me over the table, eliminate me. But,
Yeah. But
yeah, the women's Rumble was really fun.
it was very entertaining for what it was, and what it was huge. We got a lot of returns, a lot of debuts. Speaking on that, we're going to talk about the returns here. We had Naomi come back as expected. We had... Who else came back? Was there another return, or was it just debuts at that point?
I mean,
Liv Morgan returned.
Liv Morgan returned. That was fun to see. I don't think many people really expected her to be back last night. With
Yeah.
Naomi, it was different. But I feel like the bar just kind of ends there, I guess, when it comes to returns. Like,
Yeah.
One of the Rumbles.
Debut-wise, we had a treat, though.
Yeah, a treat. You had Jordan Grace from TNA.
That's
Nice-
setting up something for TNA. and
Nice to see the
WWE.
Forbidden Door open. If only Tony Khan wasn't such an egomaniac, maybe AEW wrestlers could have showed up.
Yeah,
But
man.
who knows? Maybe Vince no longer in the picture. We won't discuss him on this channel. But
Yeah.
it's good to see that. Yeah, I was kind of left a little speechless when I saw Bayley win. I'll be honest, I didn't think she was gonna win. I don't think she should have won it. Heck, I don't even think you could say she's a top 10 performer right now.
But she can become that. And frankly, Liv Morgan isn't a top 10 wrestler right now either. And
You're wrong. Stop.
how am I wrong?
You're wrong. Liv Morgan was literally women's champ like a year ago. What's Bayley
and now
done?
she's not.
What's Bayley done in the last 5 years?
She's been a part of the Four Horsewomen, and she's won, I think,
And you
one
know
or
who's
two
been the
world
least
titles.
successful out of the four horsewomen? It's been Bayley.
Her, because 3 of them are Hall of Famers, and so will she if she wins another world title.
No. Charlotte Flair is a top 3 women's wrestler of all time. Who else? Sasha Banks was up there too. She won it, I think, 9 times.
And now she's unemployed.
Yeah, I thought Sasha would show up too. I thought maybe it was unlikely. I guess now it pretty much confirms she's going to AEW.
I'm fine with that.
I mean,
I don't really care.
Yeah, nobody's gonna watch, so you should have taken the offer while you had it.
Yeah.
A small part of me was hoping for AJ Lee, who I think would have.
Same.
If I think AJ Lee never retired, I believe she would have gone down as the greatest of all time in her respective division, or at least top 5, just with the way I thought. But dang, I feel like the returns could have been just a little better.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were as bad as the men's, which we'll get into that right now.
So the men's Royal Rumble was disappointing, in my opinion.
Underwhelming. Like, the match itself wasn't terrible, but you couldn't do anything else.
Obviously, the American roller coaster punching his ticket to WrestleMania and punching his ticket in history, too, is the 4th person to go back-to-back in Rumbles.
Yes, that's right,
You know,
ladies and gentlemen.
Triple H doing this, he's setting him up for a legacy. He's setting him up, no pun intended, to be one of the best of all time if he keeps winning like this. Because, frankly, he is the main face of WWE now.
He's the
Let's see this out.
biggest baby face in the industry, period.
Yeah, and I don't know how AEW let him go, honestly.
He wanted to leave.
Yeah.
That's it. He knew AEW was about to just turn into absolute you-know-what, and he left. Same reason why Jade Cargill left. And look, she already looks like she's going to be a superstar, too.
Yeah.
They want to... Triple H said it best in the American Nightmare documentary. I didn't go to AEW to be... Well, he didn't say AEW, but get the idea. I didn't go to AEW to be the champion of a secondary promotion. I want to go to the WWE. That's my goal.
Yeah, and he built himself up with AEW kind of as a stepping stone.
Cody is a megastar now. I think that's set in stone. Jade Cargill looks like she's going to be a superstar. Brian Pillman Jr. is going to do good things on NXT with Shawn Michaels. Who else from AEW? Andrade is going to be booked properly
He's
now.
back.
Andrade, baby.
Returns at number 4 in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And they introduced him to Santos. So
Santos Escobar.
that's a huge feud that he could have.
Andrade, I think it's better for him that he's back in the company now. He's where his wife is working. I know Charlotte's out indefinitely, so hopefully she heals up soon. But Andrade should be in the mid-card title picture. And in my opinion, he's talented in the ring. One day, if he wins a world title, I wouldn't be mad.
He should eventually be in the world title picture because
He's got that to him.
his in-ring is undisputed. But
All these AEW guys that Triple H is bringing back, to say the least, I can only imagine what'll happen if he actually gets another superstar from that company.
all the AEW guys have gotten big pushes since they've come back. So
If the day, and listen, it might not be this year, it might not be in the next 5 years, MJF is going to be in WWE eventually. And while a lot of people were saying, oh, I think he's going to show up, MJF was never showing up. Injury, probably under contract with AEW, sadly. But he's going to go to WWE eventually, and Triple H is going to make him a main eventer. He's going to main event a WrestleMania or two.
hopefully.
That's what I believe.
But for debuts, we had obviously Braun Breaker finally on the main roster. You know,
He, in my opinion, looked the best out of anybody in that match.
I think he should face Gunther at Mania. I'll say it right there.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yeah.
I think he should face Gunther at Mania.
Gunther is incredible. I mean, how about Gunther? Gunther is the definition of a champion. The definition of a champion. And, like, my goodness. Top 3 again. He needs the world title once he drops the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
How could you not give him the world championship? He's so good.
Yeah.
He exhibits what a champion should be. He defends his title. He stays healthy. He's got a good move set. He's a pure, bona fide wrestler.
And, you know, he's come up short these last 2 years, but we got to remember he's also held the IC title.
He's
these
made
last
the
2
IC
years.
title into a world heavyweight championship.
Basically, yeah.
He's made it into a world title. There's
Yeah.
3 world championships, ladies and gentlemen.
According to Rocco, there's 3 world championships. I guess we don't count the women's championships.
And listen, keep Logan Paul away from Gunther, because if Survivor Series still did the brand versus brand experiment that they used to do, Logan Paul should just retire then and there.
yeah, he'll be screwed.
Yeah, because then his chest is going to look like Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah, that's not ideal for him. But
Not ideal. Something else that's not ideal, the way Nick Aldis put my tribal chief in Saturday night, a fatal 4-way.
You're not Paul Heyman. Stop it. But yeah, fatal 4-way. Roman Reigns, obviously, ref bump. Solo had to help him for a little bit. And, you know, as every Roman match, he comes out winning somehow with a ref popping out. So, you know, it was entertaining. It was all right.
The match was like, okay, it's not necessarily that the wrestlers didn't do their job. It's just like no insane spots aside from Solo dragging the ref out from under the ring. Cody, listen to me. If you're going to go up against Roman Reigns, which I think you made that very clear when you won the Rumble by dumping CM Punk out, who was also my pick, you better bring backup with you. I don't care if you got to bring Dustin back with you, which is known as Gold Dust in the WWE. Heck, if you got to bring Brandy to help you out, do it.
Jesus, Rocco.
But Roman, once again, proven that he is the GOAT of the modern era. 1,245 days and counting. I love Roman Reigns' title reign. I think it'll end at Mania. We'll touch on Mania at some point later on,
it's
but
100% ending at WrestleMania, and you know it now.
but he's still the best wrestler on the planet. He's still the guy. He's still the megastar. He's still Roman Reigns. That's all we can really say about the Fatal 4-Way. There was nothing really incredible about it.
Yeah, and Roman, it'll be fun watching him wrestle at the Chamber. Sadly, that'll be his second to last title defense.
He's not scheduled to be at the Chamber.
Okay, so WrestleMania will be his final title defense in which he'll lose it.
Hey, gee, nice going, Joe.
All right. That's going to do it for us in the wrestling world. Royal Rumble was great, and we can't wait for the build-up to the Elimination Chamber. Don't go anywhere, as next Andrew and Mark will be going over the Premier League on Top of the Line.
Hello, I'm Marco Baldino.
And I'm Andrew Mirzaaghasi.
We'll be covering this week's games in the Premier League.
So, to start off with Chelsea, when I saw that they were going to go against Liverpool, which they're currently in first place, I didn't have high hopes. And I guess I was right because it was 4-1 Liverpool. So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say after that, but so Jota gets the first goal just running straight through our two center backs, and to just get a simple finish, not too long later, they get a second goal, and then Darwin Núñez takes a penalty, and thankfully he hits the post. He hit the post 4 times this game. So thankfully he got really unlucky this game because they could have scored 6 goals. But I don't know. It's just embarrassing defeat from Chelsea that I just couldn't watch the game anymore.
it was a shame, but I didn't expect a whole entire shutout. They only scored 1 goal. Really, and I wasn't expecting that. I would say at least 2 or 3. It would be a very close one, but it's Liverpool.
No, not today.
It
Not
was
that
their
game.
day.
Not that game. It definitely was not Chelsea's day, but we still played Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final, so maybe we could get back at them. I don't really have high hopes for that, but maybe we could.
Yeah, probably. But it's not all of that fun for Liverpool. For Liverpool fans, Klopp plans to leave Liverpool after 9 years. It's pretty heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he says he's out of energy, but even though he celebrates so passionately to the home fans, but no, I feel the whole team's gonna miss him. He's such a great coach, probably arguably the best coach in the Premier League.
Yeah, it shows right now. Liverpool's at first right now, so they can really pull it off. So if it ends with a bang, Klopp at least gets to leave with something at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's very true.
It is very true. So
just
now,
hopefully Chelsea will stop. Some players will stop hiding in their shell and actually get to their full talent. Mudryk.
so we would have Man City versus Burnley. Now this game, because Burnley is second to last in Premier League, this was an easy victory for us. 3-1. Alvarez comes in, scores 2 goals, and to make it even more special, it was his birthday that game, and I wish Julian Alvarez a happy birthday. And he really performed, honestly. The 2 passes that he did, the both assists from both of his goals by Núñez and Kevin De Bruyne were pretty good, honestly. And Raji would also score the 3rd goal, but it didn't even matter, because they were still in the lead anyway. And even with Burnley's last-minute goal, it still put Man City on the top of that game. So
yeah, very simple win from Man City. Burnley didn't scare them at all. No real big threats coming from them. But Alvarez scores 2 goals on his birthday, and the 2 passes, you said, from Núñez and De Bruyne were really good. De Bruyne straight off a free kick, just a long pass to Alvarez so he could finish it in the box. That was really good for him.
It was really good for him, honestly. So we would have a very shocking result. As usually, Aston Villa tends to get away with these games, but against Newcastle, it was 1-3. So what are we explaining with this game? So Garwood scored twice in a row, within 4 minutes, mind you, in the 32nd minute and the 36th minute. And really put the final nail in the coffin for Aston Villa in this game. Morano would score an own goal, giving Newcastle a 3-point lead. And even with Watkins just scoring, it was not enough to save this game at all.
No, I mean, I'm surprised. Aston Villa and Newcastle, I'm surprised Newcastle came away with this win. This is a really good win for Newcastle because it brings them up more. Maybe have a slight chance at maybe making the Europa League or the Conference League. But I was really hoping for them to do good this season. But I hope for the rest of the season they could keep winning games. Maybe make a Champions League spot.
Yeah, maybe. Anything is possible here. There's still a lot of weeks left, so anything can happen. So Yeah, I especially felt bad for Martinez, especially in the second goal where he tried to get up. He tried getting up so hard, but he couldn't do it in time, and he had to let the second goal get in.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt bad for that. So we have Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. Arsenal will get away with this game, winning 2-1. And Arsenal really just had most of the possession during this game and had lots of trouble finding the back of the net in the first half, but then finally scored in the 65th minute. And Jesus scores a goal between the goalie's legs. 10 minutes before, he had a great chance, but he hit the post, unfortunately. And then their second, Saka would later score a goal for Arsenal. Then in the 88th minute, Nottingham Forest would score a goal to give a chance to tie it. It was to scare Arsenal fans, but however, Arsenal did come away with this victory, so...
Yeah, in the first half, like, I feel like Arsenal had, like, almost the whole time it was on Nottingham Forest side and Arsenal with the ball. Like, Arsenal kept passing around their box, but, like, Nottingham Forest kept, like, dropping back and, like, they didn't really get too many shots off Arsenal. But they had some good chances. Like you said, Jesus had a really good chance, like right outside the 6-yard box. I don't know how he didn't finish that. It did hit the post, but later on he would score.
He would eventually score, and then of course Saka too. They would put effort, and Arsenal won that game, so they go up.
Yeah, I feel like Arsenal also kind of came in with this game. Nottingham Forest could have scored again to make it a tie. That would be pretty surprising.
It would be very surprising and shaking little things up with Arsenal's placement. So now we would have our standings. So in first place, obviously, we have Liverpool with 51 points. In second, Man City with 46 points. In third place, we would have Arsenal with 46 points. In fourth place, we would have Tottenham with 43 points. And in fifth place, Aston Villa with 43 points. So...
Aston Villa drops down here to 5th place.
Yeah, they did, and I feel like it's unfortunate that Newcastle would just knock them down, and now Tottenham takes 4th place now after, like, being in 5th place for I don't know how long.
I mean,
they finally went up.
And I feel, and Liverpool have a really solid, like
a
lead
very
right here.
solid,
very solid lead right here.
5-point lead, pretty solid, honestly. So maybe they can pull it off. Maybe Klopp would come home with something from the Premier League.
But still, Liverpool have played one more game than Man City because you remember Man City's games got canceled. So
yeah,
but still, Liverpool have a solid lead right now.
They do have a solid lead.
I feel like they have a good chance at winning it.
Maybe a good chance, but anything happens in Premier League, so
Anything can happen.
anything can happen.
All right, thanks for watching. Tune in to next week for NFL and college basketball games, results of SmackDown and Monday Night Raw from the WWE, and continuing coverage from the Premier League. All of this and more on the next episode of Top of the Line.